today, it is prohibited, and you can Google this, to do a DNA test in Israel. Totally forbidden. Wrong. It's illegal. It's a crime. You'll be jailed if you do a DNA test in Israel. Why? Because they know the truth will come out. You come from Poland, you come from Ukraine, you came from Europe, you came from everywhere else. And they were the original Middle Eastern Jews who lived together with the Muslims and the Christians for centuries. For centuries. So what happened to a lot of the Jews?
Watch what this lady says about the black community being Israel's biggest problem.
The major problem of Israel is with the young generation of the black community. Black Lives Matter starts there. I had last week a dinner, sit-down dinner at my house with 40 people, which are considered the leadership of the black community.
They know that the Jewish people in Israel are not the original people.
You know what you are? You're an ancient Israelite.
Ancient Israel, that's who we are. That's who we are. So, if you give me time, if you give me time, how old are you saying?
I know. We don't have
so many years.
I know. Look at this. This is pages and pages of
Yes.
notes. And I promise we'll give more teaching. But here is my challenge to you.
All right.
I'm hearing some of your traditions. It's like the days of the Bible.
Yes.
Do you want to remain ancient Israelites, or you want to be Jews?
Stranger danger! Stranger danger! Stranger danger! Stranger danger!
This feels like Christmas morning. I got a 23andMe ancestry and health kit. I think that I kind of want to start with the ancestry side. And it says ancestry composition. I'm 49.9% Ashkenazi Jewish. That's not a huge surprise to me at all, since my mom's side of the family is completely Jewish. My dad's side is not Jewish though. So let's go to there. Let's see what's going on. This is like, I feel really like on the spot. Okay, so I'm 100% European, which again is not a huge surprise to me, but it's just funny seeing it like that. I'm 49% Ashkenazi Jew, totally. British and Irish and German and French, a little bit Scandinavian, Northeastern European. Yeah, it's not super exciting, but I kind of know all of that information. I didn't realize how much of my family was from Germany.
I'm white. Unseasoned. A Caucasian.
I'm about to show you something extremely controversial. It's even illegal in the state of Israel to obtain this. And if you do obtain it, it's illegal to show it and or talk about it. Ladies and gentlemen, my DNA. Now, I bet you thought it was going to be a lot crazier than that, right? Now, you may ask yourself, why is it illegal to obtain this in the state of Israel? Because it proves through your DNA that Jews around the world have no ancestral ties to the land of Israel.
Does having Jewish DNA determine your Jewish status? Great question. The answer is your Judaism is determined by your mother. If your mom's Jewish, you're Jewish according to traditional Judaism. Now, you could have a very high count of Jewish DNA, and that's awesome. That means you're connected to the Jewish people, but it doesn't necessarily mean you're Jewish. Don't forget, there are people that convert to Judaism and they have zero DNA and they're 100% Jewish.
Stranger danger! Stranger danger! Stranger danger! Stranger danger!
So I don't expect you to be able to provide genetic or ancestral receipts for your claims about us Jews, because those kinds of receipts are illegal in Israel without a court order and other special permissions. The Jerusalem Post explains such a thing cannot exist as kits sold directly to the public, going on to say that they have possible effects on subjects and their families. Furthermore, the national implications of these tests could hold or affect, nice grammar Jerusalem Post, could hold or affect with Israel being a government-recognized Jewish state. Don't you just love when they say the quiet parts out loud? But since they won't let you get receipts for us Jews, I brought my own. Wow. So I, an Ashkenazi, have no genetic or ancestral ties to the region of historic Palestine.
They know that the Jewish people in Israel are not the original people.
You'll be jailed if you do a DNA test in Israel. Why? Because they know the truth will come out. You come from Poland, you come from Ukraine, you came from Europe, you came from everywhere else.
Here's another line of bushel that I've seen banging around the crankiest parts of the internet, or the most anti-Semitic parts of the internet, saying that no, Ashkenazi Jews, they're not Jews. They are genetically derived from a nation that was formed sometime in, I think it's 700 or 800 AD in kind of the central part of what is today Russia. Show me the science. Show me the proof. If you can't, then just go away. But I understand you won't. I know you won't, because nobody ever does. All they do is say, I saw it on the internet, it's got to be true. But, okay, show me.
When you see Ashkenazi Jews sharing high similarity to Romanians and Hungarians, this is because both of these populations were offshoots of the Khazars. They were both founded by these members of the Caucasus who ruled this area of north of the Black Sea, where we have South Russia nowadays, between the 7th and 13th centuries. Very powerful empire. They converted to Judaism in the 8th century, and they sent offshoots to Eastern Europe. And we still some Ashkenazi Jews are mapped to this region of Ukraine. They're not all mapped to Ashkenaz. Most of them are, but some of them are mapped to Ukraine, and we can see very nicely some kind of migration routes using GPS.
So a little over 1,000 years ago, as Jewish people scattered around the world had now emigrated in Europe and now were living in the Rhineland in Germany, they looked at the name Gomer in Genesis 10, and they connected Gomer with Germany, so they took on the identity of the name Ashkenaz. It has nothing to do with Ashkenaz in the Bible, which is a descendant of Japhet. It's just a name that was taken, okay? It's that simple. Just like my last name, Brown, doesn't refer to the color of my skin or anything else. It was shortened from a Russian name when my grandfather came over at Ellis Island. The name got shortened to Brown. It's just a name. That's all it is. So the idea that Ashkenazi Jews are descended from Japhet is a myth, 100% false.
Stranger danger! Stranger danger! Stranger danger! Stranger danger!
You mentioned it, and that's very good because it's a chance to refute another myth. Random drift has been used to explain why Ashkenazi Jews are different. When you compare them to the Palestinians, they don't look like Palestinians. When you compare them to English, they don't look like English. So they said, oh yeah, they because they married each other, random drift took its shot and created this unicorn. That's not true. They're just not being compared to the right populations where they came out. If you compare them to the population we mentioned, these Southern Europeans, Turkish populations, you will see much higher similarity.
I took a DNA test recently when I was 23 in these, and I found out I'm 99% Ashkenazi Jewish, and I'm 1% Eastern European Jewish, which I did some research, and basically all that means is I'm 100% a product of incest. I don't know if you guys know, except for the one Jew here, Ashkenazi Jews are all from the same 300-person tribe from the Middle East.
I decided to take one of those 23andMe DNA tests as somehow looking in a mirror wasn't enough proof of my Judaism. I found out that I'm in fact 99% Eastern European Jewish. Yeah, or as Hitler called it, the one who got away. 99%? Why did my ancestors think this was genetic perfection?
And the point about the Italian, just to explain this, because it's not obvious, the similarity to Greco-Romans can be easily explained by their shared past with where we have now Turkey. Remember, Turkey was conquered by the Italian. They call it Constantinople. It was their their capital city. So south to the Black Sea, there were always Greco-Romans and Iranians, all of them mixed. And these are the populations that their hybridization created the Ashkenazi Jewish genome. And because after they left this region, they avoided mixing with other populations to a certain degree, of course, they preserved this South Black Sea genetic signature that allowed us to come back after thousands of years and trace them back to where they were. If they were mixing with other populations, these Black Sea signatures would have decayed, it would have disappeared.
What's your thoughts? Please be respectful with your comments. Also, please click the like, click the notification bell, and subscribe to this channel.
Listen, Genesis chapter 11 verse 10 explains the genealogy of Shem. Shem was a black man in Africa. If you repeat this back, Genesis 14 verse 13, Abraham steps on the scene. Being a descendant of Shem, which is a fact, means Abraham too was black. Abraham, born in the city of a black man, called Nimrod, grandson of Ham. Ham had 4 sons. One was named Canaan. Here, let me do some explaining. Abraham, Isaac was Jacob had 12 sons, for real, and these were the children of Israel. According to Genesis chapter 10, these were the children of Israel. According to Genesis chapter 10, these were the children of Israel. According to Genesis chapter 10.